Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to our Wild Card Weekend edition of the Steelers Preview Show. I'm your host, Jim Cella. I'm glad to say I'm in studio today with JDash, producer / co-host / whatever else we need him to do around here.
/ ready to go.
/ believe it.
Another Baltimore-Pittsburgh playoff game.
Playoffs?
And it's gone well so far.
Big Ben said that the NFL wanted an AFC North matchup in the playoff weekend.
Well, the Steelers play well against teams in the playoffs from the North, in all honesty. I mean, they take care of business versus Cincinnati, obviously, and they played well versus Baltimore, too. And they never get to play Cleveland. The one time they did, I remember Tommy Maddox brought them back from a
85-point deficit.
Yeah, it was
not
a
literally.
Huge deficit.
Yeah, that was a great game, except for Kelly Holcomb almost beat us. That was pretty pathetic. But the Baltimore Ravens are 0-3 at Pittsburgh in the playoffs. They're about to go 0-4. I know you've been at, 2 out of 3 of these games?
Yeah.
I might be going to this game. That's 3 out of 4.
75% ain't bad.
Sounds like pretty good odds.
These two are 14-14 against each other in their last 28 regular season games. And they usually play close games, but this season they've been 2 20-point blowouts, one by each team. But both, again, it evened out. They both scored 49 points against each other this season. And I expect this game to be a lot closer.
Well, the Steelers started Cortez Allen, Ike Taylor, Troy Polamalu on September 11th in Baltimore. And the November 2nd rematch at Heinz Field, it was Willie Gay and Bryce McCain and Polamalu. In the regular season finale that we played against Cincinnati, it was Gay, McCain, and Will Allen. So our defensive backfield keeps changing. It's nowhere near the same defense that it was the first 2 times we played Baltimore. The Ravens have started 4 different players at cornerback in 2 games against the Steelers, and only one of them, Ladarius Webb, is even still on the active roster.
Well, I think this week, there's no way I would start Ike Taylor to begin with. I would definitely keep the D-backs the way it is. They played a great game last week. And as for safety, it gets a little bit harder. Yeah, you want Polamalu in there, but do you really want to take out Will Allen in his place?
I don't think they're gonna, man. From what I hear, it's I don't want to call it a cover-up thing, but they're trying to save face for Polamalu, and they're trying to say he's more injured than he really is. And he might not even play. He might not even suit up, but he's almost definitely not going to start from what I'm hearing. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I couldn't start him over Allen. Like I was saying in the recap or the preview of last week's game, maybe play Will Allen at free safety. I'd have no problem with that because Mike Mitchell can't cover and he can't tackle. At least Will Allen can tackle. But I don't know. I want to see Troy Dress. I want to see him out there for 15 to 20 plays maybe. I just don't want to see him starting over Allen.
It's not just defensive backs that are all scattered. Cam Thomas and Ryan Shazier started both games against the Ravens for the Steelers this season, but Thomas has started just one time and Shazier not at all since November 2nd. The Steelers started Jarvis Jones at outside linebacker on September 11th, Arthur Moats on November 2nd, and James Harrison was there Sunday night against the Bengals. So it's been rotating players, I should say, for the Steelers defense pretty much all the way through, other than Cam Hayward and Lawrence Timmons and Mike Mitchell, who's been garbage. So I don't know why he's not been benched.
Well, the last time these two played, Timmons did his thing as usual, 11 tackles. He had a sack along with that. But Harrison was the one that was killing it in that game. He had 2 sacks and 4 QB hits. We need to see that again this week.
Harrison hates the Ravens. He always has a big game against them.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It is awesome. And Joe Flacco has been playing like garbage recently. Last time he played us, he had 303 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. But he looked like crap against Cleveland and Houston the past 2 weeks. And Andrew Filippone this week was saying that the Steelers have no advantage at quarterback. That is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard from someone who covers Pittsburgh sports.
Well, he said one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my whole entire life when he told me I didn't win the fan contest. so he lost all credibility with me.
If you would have won that, there would be no spread, so can't hate. The spread's gone big.
Spread's blowing up. Filipponi's going down.
Yeah, but think about it, man. Who in their right mind thinks Joe Flacco is as good as Big Ben? It makes no sense.
Nobody I know with any football knowledge would ever say that they're on the same level. And you don't even like Big Ben. You think he's a rapist.
Well, that's a different story. I do like Big Ben, but I have no clue if he did any of that or not.
Well, Ben says, I think we're playing better football right now. I think we're continuing to improve every week. Guys are stepping up and making plays. Those guys are still playing at a high level like they were the last time. We're getting more contributions from a little bit of everybody. That's a direct quote from Ben Roethlisberger. He has a lot of confidence in this offense. You know, they're kind of walking with a little bit of a swagger. They come at you with that, ground game with Le'Veon Bell, which, he still might not play, but they pound you. He runs around you a few times here and there, and then they just blast you with that deep ball to Bryant or the deep ball to Brown, or Brown takes a 5-yard pass deep. I mean, this offense really is clicking on all cylinders right now. We just got to really hope that we get something out of the running back position if Le'Veon can't go.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say clicking on all cylinders. Last week, they didn't look too great. They definitely have a lot of work to do from last week. Some of it had to do with Bell coming out of the game, because Bell was having a big game before he got hurt. And people were saying you need Bell back for this game, but if you go back and look when these two played the first time, Bell had 10 carries for 20 yards. And he only had 5 receptions for 38 yards. He did score in the air, but I don't think you do need the running game. You just need to keep running the ball. If you're not getting a lot of yardage, just don't get away from running the ball.
You can't go long down and distance, though. If you're getting stuffed on first and second down running the ball, you can't set yourself up for third and long. I'm not saying go one-dimensional, and I want them to keep running the ball, but they got to get at least 3 yards of pop out of it. They got to move forward.
Listen, they only averaged 2.2 the last time they played, but remember, Big Ben in this passing game stepped up in a big way. He had 6 touchdowns in that game, and I think they could do it again. Baltimore's pass defense has been garbage all season long. Steeler fans, we complain about our pass defense. Baltimore's pass defense is just as bad, if not worse than ours. And let's remember, Pittsburgh can stop the run too. Last time these two played, they only had 63 yards, 3.5 per carry. If the run game doesn't get going for us, it does hurt, but it's not the end of the world, because I don't think Baltimore's run game's going to do much either. And if it comes down to passing games, again, Big Ben or Joe Flacco, Filipponi.
Filipponi's garbage. Him and Rob Rossi can go hang out together.
Speaking of Le'Veon Bell being hurt, he may miss this game. We'll still have to see. He's questionable right now. But they signed Ben Tate. But Rob Rossi got to put up or shut up this week, because he said earlier in the season if Bell goes down, they have no chance.
No chance.
So if the Steelers win this week, what do you got to say, Bobby?
Robbie Ross. You're garbage, Rossi. Your stupid hipster glasses and your hipster haircut. But you can come on the spread, and you should follow us at bet_the spread if you would like.
Exactly. I want to see Bell out there, but he didn't have a huge game the last time these two played, and I think the Steelers still have an advantage without him just because of the quarterback position. Both teams have trouble against the pass. Both teams can stop the run. Big Ben versus Joe Flacco to me.
Big Ben, it is Big Ben versus Joe Flacco. All big games are predicated usually on the better quarterback. But really, it's...
Although Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl somehow.
It's who's going to outperform? Is our run game going to give us enough, or is Baltimore's defense going to give them just enough? Is what it is to me. If we can't run the ball at all, we're going to have a hard time winning this game. If we have to go one-dimensional and Ben has to throw the ball 45, 50 times, it's going to be really hard to win this football game. Our defense isn't built to be out on the field that long. The longer they're out there, the more chance they have to give up a big play. You know it's going to happen. We've seen it happen all the time. I'm not hating on them, because you can't can't hang a defense out to dry that long. You got to win the time of possession battle. But the Steelers' run game needs to do something. And if they can do more than what the Baltimore's defense can do for them, I think that's going to be play a huge part in Pittsburgh winning this football game.
I see your point. I don't know if they have to become one-dimensional. I think Baltimore's offense is going to be one-dimensional. I don't think their run game is going to get going at all versus the Steelers defense, who's shown all season long they can stop the run. They did let up 100 yards last week to Jeremy Hill, but that's all Cincinnati is. It's all run.
As long as the Steelers offense isn't going 3 and out all the time and forcing the defense out on the field too long,
yeah,
I think that they'll stop the run game. But if they get out there and they start getting tired, there's not a whole lot of depth. Our D-line's beat up. Our defensive backs are beat up. When we're bringing in subs, we're bringing in guys from practice squads now.
That's why it'd be nice to see Ike Taylor at least healthy enough to dress in case something does happen where they need a couple extra players out there. I wouldn't mind having him as a backup in this game.
I'm hearing the Steelers may not dress him at all because they just don't think he has it anymore. They may just leave him injured and not dress.
I think he has one more year left on his deal, too, so they're just going to probably cut him then, huh?
Yeah, he'll probably be cut after this year, and Polamalu will probably retire after this year. Brett Kiesel will probably retire after this year. James Harrison says he's got one more left in him, so we could see there. But it's going to be a different Steelers defense next year. I'm
not worried about next year, though. It's all about Saturday.
Please believe, Saturday night, I'm going to be sitting there drinking beer. Well, you said that you think the Steelers is going to be able to shut down Baltimore's run game. What about Baltimore's run defense with Haloti Nada coming back? How much does that help the Ravens?
Oh, it's a huge help to the Ravens. They've been able to stop the run pretty well all season, but he's been a big part of the reason. He hasn't been hurt all year, obviously.
No, he was out 4 games. He was suspended.
And the difference between losing Bell and gaining Nada is huge. But like I said, if they do stop the run, I just think their passing defense has been so bad all season long that Big Ben can put this game on his shoulders, especially with Antonio Brown out there.
The Ravens went 3-1 in those 4 games that Nada was suspended, so they didn't really miss him too much, I guess.
Yeah, and look, they let up 13 points or less in 3 or 4 of those games, all wins. The one loss, they let up 25.
Garbage.
So their defense has been getting it done on the scoreboard at least, but like I said, they've been getting burnt in the pass all season.
Well, what happens if Big Ben starts having one of those games where he seems like he forgets what team he plays for and just kind of throws it right to the other guy?
Well, then they're going to have huge problems because I'm telling you right now, the Steelers ain't going to have 100 yards rushing on the ground, at least from one running back, maybe combined throughout the team. But if Ben has a bad game, there's going to be troubles because, let's face it, Joe Flacco does play well against the Steelers, if nothing else.
Are we going to get anything out of the vanilla midget? What's his name? Dre Archer.
He's going to play, definitely. If Le'Veon Bell can't play, Dre Archer is going to be out there. But, I mean, I wouldn't expect anything more than 2 or 3 receptions for 15 to 30 yards.
You don't think he's going to get 30 carries for like 150 yards?
No, I highly
7
doubt
yards
that.
a pop?
I think Josh Harris will probably be the feature back in this game with Ben Tate coming in a little bit.
That's scary.
It is scary, but like I said, if you go back and look the last time these two played, LeGarrette Blount led the team with 10 carries for 23 yards, and Bell had 10 for 20. So if they don't get it done, it doesn't matter that much. They blew them out last time.
This is the playoffs. It's cold. It's January. It's a lot different now than it was back then.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be so cold where they can't pass.
It's going to be 44 and raining, I think, is the high for that day.
Well, if it rains, it might be a little different.
60% chance of rain. Rain-snow mixture, depending on what time of the day it's coming.
Like we were saying, the Steelers and the Ravens are always play tight games. And if you look here, the Steelers average 27.3 points per game, and they're ranked 7th. Baltimore is ranked 8th with 25.6. So these two offenses are close, and if you actually look, yes, the Steelers as a team score more points per game, but as an offense, Baltimore actually scored 3 more points than the Steelers offense this season, which is surprising to me because the Steelers are one of the top offenses in football.
Well, really, to me, that's because Pittsburgh struggled early in the year to score points in the red zone, especially, and on the road in their first 4 road games, other than Carolina, I think they scored a combined like 25 or 30 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baltimore was a little more consistent, I guess I want to say, throughout the year with the rate that they scored points. The one thing that really stands out to me is how big the victory against Cincinnati was for Pittsburgh. Including last season, the Ravens are 6-10 away from Baltimore and have not posted a winning record on the road since 2010. And, Pittsburgh destroyed them 43-23 the last time they came to Heinz Field. It just seems to me like Baltimore is lost on the road. And this rowdy crowd that we're going to have for the first playoff game in Pittsburgh in a long time, I think the energy from the fans, the energy with the Steelers, I don't know. We're franchise trending upward. Baltimore seems to be a franchise sitting in a lull. Not that they're in a bad lull because they're still making the playoffs and everything, but they're not really going up or down. They just kind of seem like they've hit a period where they're just there.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, they lost, 2 Hall of Fame defensive players recently, and Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, so
one was a murderer.
It's hard to go up when that happened so recently.
Well, when you get rid of a murderer, a gangster, and a wife beater off your team, that should make your team trend upward, right?
Not when it's those guys.
I guess.
Ray Rice was still a good football player.
Yeah, he just beats women.
But you're right, the Ravens haven't been as good on the road, and just look at their last road game at Houston with Case Keenum at quarterback. They were only able to put up 13 points on them, which Houston does have a pretty decent defense, but Case Keenum helped that offense put up 25 points on the Ravens defense.
Lit them up.
And we know the Steelers offense is much better than Houston.
Well, what's your key to victory?
Let's see. My key to victory is, like I said, this game is on the quarterbacks. Joe Flacco usually has a good game against the Steelers, but it's time for Big Ben to step up and lead this team to the next round to face Denver. It's all about Big Ben to me this week because we know the Steelers' run game, it's going to be tough for them. I want them to get 15 to 20 carries just to keep them honest. But again, Big Ben has to put this game on his shoulders and have a big game like he did last time against them.
I want to see the defense. They don't have to win this game for Pittsburgh. They're definitely going to have to hold their own. Obviously, Baltimore's offense isn't garbage by any means, but I want to see them turn Baltimore's offense one-dimensional. Shut down the run game defense. Shut down Justin Forsett. I want to see Flacco have to throw the ball 50 times because if he throws the ball 50 times, I know you said he's played well against Pittsburgh. Our defense is playing very opportunistic football. They're getting turnovers. They're creating big plays right now. Let's ride this momentum of these defensive big plays and these special teams big plays that we got last week. Let's keep that going. If you keep that going, you're going to give the offense a short field. That'll make Ben's job a little bit easier, to carry the offense. It'll make Harris's job a little less stressful, and he won't be so nervous. The biggest thing for Harris is to try to keep calm and just play football because if he overthinks it, he may start making some big mistakes. And, of course, as always, you cannot turn the football over in this game if you're Pittsburgh. You do not have Le'Veon Bell to help get down the field on a quick drive for a quick score. Your offense is going to have to be slightly more methodical in the way you do things. The big play may not be there this week for the offense, but you just keep grinding it out and you stay consistent in the passing game, and the Pittsburgh Steelers should be able to win this game.
Yeah, I expect another good game out of this Steelers defense. They've showed it the past month, and the last time they played Baltimore, we've said it time and time again this season, that was their best game of the season. They had 10 quarterback hits in that game. James Harrison was a monster in that game. I expect the same thing from them this week, and let's not forget, back when this game happened against Baltimore when we blew them out, our D-backs weren't playing that well.
Right.
Now they're looking pretty good.
Well, it's a whole new crop of D-backs.
So I expect them to look even better in this game.
The defense has only given up 30 points once in the last 8 games, and that was that New Orleans Saints game where Drew Brees lit us up.
Yeah, and they've let up 24 points or less in 8 of their past 10 games, that is the number I want to see out of our defense. 24 or less points. Your offense is good enough to win that game no matter who you are playing, unless it's someone like Seattle. 24 is a hard number to hit for that offense.
Seattle led the league in defensive points allowed 3 years in a row. First team to ever do that.
The two defenses that I think that can stop this Steelers offense that I'd be worried about are both in the NFC, in Detroit and Seattle.
I don't think Detroit's offense has enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. That's the only two defenses that scare me. I think if our defense can hold any team to 24 points or less, we should win that game from our offense.
What's your score prediction here?
2 blowouts this season. I don't expect that in the playoffs. I'm going to say it's going to be a close game. I think our offense has a pretty good game. 29-23.
I think this is going to be an old school Steelers-Ravens game. It's going to be a grind-em-out game. Pittsburgh's defense is going to have to thrive on turnovers. They're going to have to force Joe Flacco to look as stupid as his unibrow. I think it's going to work. You know, ironically, I say they need to do it, and of course I think it's going to work. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers win this game a lot closer than most people, though. I think they win 24-17.
Either way, I'll take it. I don't care if it's 3-2.
Yeah, I'll take that. That'd be a fun game, huh?
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
I'd be pretty mad pretty much the whole game, though, because
Yeah.
I'd have heartburn. I'd probably be puking in the bucket next to me.
Shart yourself.
Yeah, that'd be rough. Well, I want to thank you, Dash, for stopping in. Thanks, you fans, for listening. You guys can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. Eat, sleep, and breathe the spread. Here we go, Pittsburgh. Let's get this back to the mother bleeping Super Bowl.
Go Steelers.